revealing the scope of your sort of needs to be, fulfilled.
Is we were like, we're going to show the movie, and the studio was like, no, you're going to show 20 minutes. So we're like, no, we're going to show the movie. And they're like, it's not done. And I was like, damn.
For years, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have been the ultimate Hollywood power couple. They had it all: box office success, billion-dollar brand deals, and a seemingly perfect marriage that fans admired. They weren't just actors. They were a brand, a powerhouse, an empire. But what happens when an empire begins to crack? Because behind the glitz and glamour, a legal war has been raging, a battle so intense that it now threatens to end their Hollywood reign for good. What started as a $250 million lawsuit against Justin Baldoni has spiraled into a devastating legal defeat for Blake, a $400 million countersuit, and a judge who just shut down her last hope. And now, Hollywood is asking, is this the end for Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds? Let's break it all down. At first, this story seemed simple. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni were supposed to be creative partners, working together on the highly anticipated film adaptation of It Ends With Us. Fans were excited, Hollywood was watching, and everything seemed to be going smoothly. Until suddenly, it wasn't. Blake filed a shocking lawsuit against Justin, accusing him of serious
I don't even like coffee, but I drink it because I love the way they crush the beans and they talk about it in the story of the origin
to the role as a young Lily. And I think that there's a key difference in that because I think she would have
misconduct and demanding $250 million in damages. The media erupted. Blake was Hollywood royalty, loved by fans, respected in the industry. So naturally, people believed she must have had a solid case. Justin Baldoni, on the other hand, wasn't seen as powerful enough to fight back. At least, that's what everyone thought. But then, Justin did the unthinkable. He fought back, and that's when everything changed. Most Hollywood figures in Justin's position would have stayed quiet. They would have settled behind closed doors, signed an NDA, and disappeared from the headlines. But Justin, he went to war. And he didn't go alone. He hired Brian Friedman, one of the most feared attorneys in Hollywood. Friedman wasn't just there to defend Justin. He was there to destroy Blake's case. Within weeks, he filed a $400 million countersuit against Blake, Ryan Reynolds, and even several media outlets that had reported Blake's allegations without proper evidence. And then, piece by piece, Friedman started taking apart Blake's lawsuit. Suddenly, her claims weren't as airtight as they seemed. Suddenly, the judge wasn't taking her side anymore. Suddenly, the power dynamic had shifted. And in the latest courtroom showdown, Blake Lively just suffered her biggest defeat yet. On February 3rd, Blake's legal team made a desperate move. They begged the judge to let Blake choose who would question her during depositions. Why? Because Brian
come in and tried to do me. It would have been like a Saturday Night Live situation.
What are we drinking?
Aviation American Gin, who's owned by
Brian Friedman was set to question her himself. And if there's one thing Friedman is known for, it's destroying high-profile witnesses in depositions. Blake's team knew that if Friedman got the chance to grill her, the case could take a turn for the worse. So they tried to stop it. But the judge, he didn't even hesitate. Request denied. Blake will be questioned by Friedman. No exceptions. Why is this a huge loss for Blake? Because it means the judge doesn't believe her case is strong enough to grant her special treatment. If she had nothing to hide, why would she be so afraid to face questioning? And just like that, the case started to crumble. But the damage wasn't just legal. Blake's entire brand was now in free fall. Blake Lively didn't just build a career in Hollywood. She built an empire. Her brand Betty Buzz was supposed to be her golden ticket into the business world. But now, that empire is falling apart. Reports surfaced that Target is quietly pulling Betty Buzz product from shelves. Why? Because return rates have skyrocketed. Customers who once supported Blake are now turning away from her. And in Hollywood, public perception is everything. Once you lose the trust of your audience, there's no coming back. But the worst part? She wasn't the only one suffering. Because now, Ryan Reynolds was getting dragged down with her. For years, Ryan Reynolds has been one of the most bankable actors in Hollywood. From Deadpool to Free Guy to Red Notice, everything he touched turned to gold. But now, That golden reputation is starting to crack. Sources inside Marvel claim that Disney is quietly distancing itself from Ryan. Why? Because they don't want controversy surrounding Deadpool 3, which is set to be one of the biggest films of the year. If the lawsuit continues to spiral, Ryan could be removed from the MCU altogether. And if that happens, his career may never recover. As things spiraled out of control, Blake's team tried one last trick. They requested a court extension, claiming they needed time to fight another lawsuit in Texas. Sounds reasonable, right? Except they got caught in a lie. Brian Friedman exposed them in front of the entire courtroom. It turns out Blake's team had filed the Texas lawsuit themselves. Not because they needed time, but because they were trying to delay the inevitable. When the judge found out, he was furious. Not only did he deny their request, but he forced Blake's team to submit their documents immediately. This was the final nail in the coffin. Blake's case was falling apart in real time. So, where does this leave Blake, Lively, and Ryan Reynolds? Right now, things couldn't be worse. They could be blacklisted from Hollywood. Brand deals are vanishing. Movie contracts are in jeopardy. And if they lose the case, they could owe Justin Baldoni $400 million for a couple that was once untouchable. This is a career-destroying scandal. And the scariest part? The trial hasn't even started yet.